Welcome, I'm back with another edition of Race to Power, a show where we talk about everything politics. Here's what we have lined up for you on this show. Now, the long race to the White House has started, and Donald Trump couldn't have asked for a better start. After Iowa's record win, he has also won in New Hampshire's primary. This is raising more questions about Nikki Haley and her future. The question is, how long will she be able to stick around? We will try and decode. Now, even if you don't follow Indian politics very closely, you would know that India's opposition has a lot of work to do. Opinion polls are not in its favor, and the BJP-led government is expected to return for a third term. But amid all of this, the opposition alliance is struggling to even look united. Just look. New cracks have appeared, and it keeps getting deeper. Remember, elections are less than 4 months away in India. The biggest story coming in from the United States. With 0 presidential debates and 91 felony counts, Donald J. Trump has won the New Hampshire primary, making him the only person to win it 3 times. Last we checked, about 95% of the votes were in, where Trump has secured 54.5% so far. And Nikki Haley is trailing a close second with 43.2%. To the surprise of many people, Nikki Haley's second position has not prompted her to quit the race. In fact, right after the results, Haley went onto the stage and called herself a fighter.
New Hampshire is first in the nation. It is not the last in the nation. This race is far from over. There are dozens of states left to go. And the next one is my sweet state of South Carolina.
The truth is that the odds are against her. New Hampshire was her best bet. It was a state with moderate Republicans and independents. Haley spent tens of millions of dollars on her campaign here and even had the endorsement of the state's governor. But she still could not win in New Hampshire. The question is, how does she expect to do better in more conservative states? There is another problem, and that is money. Her team needs to find out if she can actually sustain in the campaign longer. After the early results, Trump is headed then to Nashua to address his supporters. The win confirms his status as the front-runner for the Republican presidential nominee. In fact, history is on his side too. Any candidate who has won both the Iowa caucus and the New Hampshire primary has gone on to become the presidential nominee. But Trump spoke less about his victory and more about his frustrations with rival Haley.
And she was up, and I said, wow, she's doing like a speech like she won. She didn't win, she lost. You know, we won New Hampshire 3 times now, 3. We win it every time. We win the primary, we win the generals, we've won it, and it's a very, very special place to me. It's very important. And just a little note to Nikki, she's not going to win. She's not going to win.
The next Republican race will be in Nevada, but the most important one will be in South Carolina on 24th of February. Now, this is Nikki Haley's home state, but she is projected to lose there as well. Trump has the endorsement of most of the state's Republican establishment, including its governor. The former president is using his legal battles like a campaign tool. It has worked in his favor till now, something he says even he does not understand why. Now, to decode this further, we are being joined by Morgan Vina from Washington, D.C. She is the former chief of staff to Nikki Haley when she was the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. Ms. Vina, thank you so much for joining us here on WION.
Thank you so much for having me.
Right. Ms. Vina, you have understood and followed Nikki Haley very closely for a long time now, and you, of course, know her personality, her politics, and her space in the Republican camp. I want to ask you, do you think Nikki Haley should continue her campaign?
This primary season is not over. Nikki Haley is a fighter, and she is going to see this through. I think it's really disappointing that the political class and the media really want to shut the door on this campaign when we still have so many other states to see them go through their primaries. Nikki Haley bowing out at this point, it's just not going to happen. You know, as Nikki Haley has said before, we do not do coronations in this country. You know, there are dozens more states to go, and she's heading to South Carolina next.
As you said, there are a lot of other primaries left and more states left, so the fight is not over yet. But the more states they are even more conservative from New Hampshire. And New Hampshire actually took pride in its independence and its moderates, right? So how do you expect Nikki Haley to win in more conservative states?
Well, so many of those states, particularly on Super Tuesday, have open primaries or semi-open primaries in which both Republicans, Democrats, Independents can vote, and many will vote for Nikki. She has always said that this is a step-by-step process. Her pathway is not going to be won in Iowa or New Hampshire. She is looking to build off of each state. As we've said, she has a long way to go, but there are many states ahead and many more opportunities for her to demonstrate that she has what it takes to be the next president.
All right, Ms. Vina, thank you so much for joining us here on WION and getting us all those insights.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, now Donald Trump's win in New Hampshire has asked more debates and has raised more questions. And one of them is, who will Trump choose as his vice president? The former president had said earlier that he knows who his vice president will be. He also said that he likes the concept of a female running mate. Now here's a look at the potential list. First up on the list is Kristi Noem. The South Dakota governor went on a multi-state campaign as an official surrogate for the former president's re-election campaign. The 52-year-old could be a popular choice in Iowa to join Trump's ticket. She's also a two-term Republican governor, and her state was the first to come out of the COVID lockdown. However, some conservatives are concerned over her candidature. The hesitation traces back to her veto of a legislation that would ban biological men from competing in women's sports. Moving forward now is the former TV newscaster turned politician Kari Lake. Lake also won the last Conservative Political Action Committee's straw poll for the VP slot. Now Lake has stepped down from her anchor role and shortly after announced her candidacy in the 2022 was tainted by fraud and misconduct. However, her various attempts to prove that argument in court have so far ended in failure. Now another potential contender is New York's Elise Stefanik. Now Stefanik is a top House Republican, and that is not all. Earlier, while talking about the January 6th Capitol riots, Stefanik called in a tragic day for the US. She also added that, and I'm quoting here, that the perpetrators of the attack must be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And currently, Stefanik is chair of the House Republican Conference, which is the fourth-ranking Republican position. And this time around, she expressed concerns over the people arrested on January 6th. Stefanik endorsed Trump before he even announced his run for a second term in November of 2022. She also said that she will be honored to serve in the next Trump administration. All right, now the undeterred pick of the lot is Sarah Huckabee Sanders. The Arkansas governor served as the White House press secretary in the former President Donald Trump's administration. While responding to her candidature as the vice president, Sanders indicated disinterest. Sanders had leveraged her White House experience to become the first female governor of Arkansas. Now, while some allies had also floated the name of Tulsi Gabbard, who represented Hawaii in the US House as a Democrat until January of 2021. However, later quit the Han and quit the Democratic Party and became an independent. Now, Gabbard has since taken more conservative positions on culture war and social issues, including abortion and transgender rights. Now, Gabbard has reportedly grabbed the attention of Trump during her appearances in TV news.
To take away the big influence that money has in our politics.
Now, as India inches closer to the general elections, a major rift in the Grand Opposition Alliance is now on display. The unity among the 28-member India bloc appears to be crumbling. Rather than share seats, parties want to go solo in major states like Punjab and West Bengal. They even say that there will be no seat sharing and, quote-unquote, any interference. In the last 24 hours, the India alliance suffered two big jolts. West Bengal Chief Minister and Trinamool Congress Supremo Mamata Banerjee declared her party will fight alone in the state for the upcoming Lok Sabha polls. Shortly after, Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann and leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party also said that their party will fight on all 13 lower house seats. He added that there will be no compromises.
এবং আমি প্রস্তাব দিয়েছিলাম, ওরা প্রথম দিনই প্রত্যাখ্যান করেছে। তখন থেকে আমাদের দল সিদ্ধান্ত নিয়েছে আমরা বাংলায় একা চলবো। ইভেন ওরা যে আজ থেকে র্যালি করেছে আমাদের একবার অ্যাজ এ ম্যাটার অফ কান্ট্রি, আমি ইন্ডিয়ার অ্যালায়েন্স আমাকে একবার জানিয়েছে দিদি আপনার রাজ্যে যাচ্ছে না, জানায়নি। সুতরাং আমার সাথে কোনো সম্পর্ক নেই বাংলার ব্যাপারে। অল ইন্ডিয়ায় কি করবো না করবো আপনার ইলেকশন ভাববো। আমরা সেকুলার পার্টি, আমরা বিজেপিকে হারানোর জন্য যা করা হবে।
देश में पंजाब बनेगा हीरो। 2024 में लोकसभा चुनाव में आम आदमी पार्टी के पक्ष में 13-0 हो सकता है। कोई उनके साथ बातचीत चल रही हो उस लेवल पे, लेकिन पंजाब में हम ऐसा नहीं करने वाले। पंजाब में कांग्रेस से हमारा।
While the divide is all too clear, other alliance leaders have tried to downplay it. Trying to fix the situation, members of parties like the RJD and NCP said that the comments by Mamata Banerjee are in particular context and there are no disputes among the parties. The Congress General Secretary responded that the India bloc cannot be imagined without Mamata Banerjee. However, AAP leader Bhagwant Mann's remarks a short while later further stunned the India allies. Consensus on a seat-sharing formula is a major challenge for the opposition parties as they try to take on the ruling BJP in the upcoming polls. The Congress reportedly told its state units that it is considering fielding candidates in 255 seats of the 543 seats for the general elections. West Bengal alone has 42 Lok Sabha seats, while Punjab has 13. Both TMC and AAP are keen on reaching an early seat-sharing formula. Mamata Banerjee says that she discussed a proposal with the Congress, but the party has delayed its acceptance. Reportedly, Congress is seeking around 10 to 12 constituencies in West Bengal, but Mamata Banerjee's party is keen to allocate only 2. Congress and TMC leaders in West Bengal have often indulged in a war of words, a clear indicator of a regional influence coming in the way of the national ambitions of the alliance.
जोड़ने का है, समाज बांटने का है, हमारा काम जोड़ने का है। उस जोड़ने की कड़ी में अब हम राष्ट्रगान के नाते अपनी इस देश के प्रति समर्पित हमारा जो भाव है उसको समर्पित करते हैं। अब सभी शांति से राष्ट्रगान में पार्टिसिपेट करेंगे, कोई नारा नहीं।
Now, the political fervor in Pakistan is peaking ahead of general elections. In the latest, former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif and ex-Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari are locked in a war of words. Addressing a campaign rally, Pakistan People's Party chairperson Bilawal Bhutto Zardari warned that PMLN Supremo Nawaz Sharif's politics of revenge would badly harm the country and its economy. Bilawal has vowed to end this politics of revenge if he is voted to power.
I appeal to you, look in this election. There is competition between lion and the arrow. Come join me, support me. I will eliminate the revenge politics.
The PPP was in alliance with Sharifs PMLN after they joined forces to oust Imran Khan-led Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. That was back in 2022, after the coalition made way for the neutral caretaker government ahead of elections. The parties parted ways. Now they are now pitched against each other in the upcoming polls. PPP chairperson Bilawal Bhutto Zardari is his party's prime ministerial face, appealing to young voters and hoping to carve out PTI supporters.
Okay, so I think it's absolutely important for us to engage with 60-70% of our population at the age of 35. Because I am also young myself, I think there's a lot of ability to relate there. And at the same time, our policies, our agenda that I launched earlier today, I think addresses many of the issues that affect young people all across the country.
In many ways, Bilawal's strategies are reminiscent of those used by Imran Khan to come back to power in 2018. Imran Khan is barred from contesting upcoming polls and his party's election symbol has been taken away. Many of the party candidates are hence running as independents. Now, reports of a possible post-poll alliance between PPP and PTI have been surfacing for months now, but we do not know if any concrete steps have been taken in that direction. For now, Bilawal Bhutto Zardari seems to be uncompromising with the PMLN and has expressed willingness to form a government with the support of independents.
And I would prefer to form a Pakistan People's Party-led government with independent politicians. You know, lots of independent politicians, probably the highest in our history, are taking part in the coming elections.
Nawaz Sharif, on the other hand, returned to Pakistan last year after 4 years of self-exile. Ever since his return, the Pakistani establishment and courts have cleared the path for Sharif to contest upcoming elections. Some are even calling it pre-poll rigging, as they feel the winner has already been chosen.
Today, I haven't come here to become Prime Minister. I have reached this destination to take part in the upcoming elections. Each one of you has to vote for me. Will you vote for Nawaz Sharif or not?
Will the Kremlin allow an anti-war candidate to run for presidency? Thousands of Russians are waiting for the answer as they stand in long lines to show their support for Boris Nadezhdin. The 60-year-old running from the Civic Initiative Party has kindled hope for pro-peace Russians in an election that President Vladimir Putin is all but guaranteed to win. Now, Nadezhdin is known for campaigning against Russia's actions in Ukraine. In his campaign manifesto, he has called himself a principled opponent of Putin's policies. He has repeatedly called for an end to the war against Kiev. If elected, Nadezhdin has promised to end mobilization, return Russian soldiers home and free political prisoners.
I want to change the country. I want there to be peace and normal life here. For Russia to be a peaceful and free country.
Now, this comes as Moscow's war approaches its third year. In the latest, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that Russian missiles have hit Ukraine's two largest cities, killing at least 18 people, injuring over 130 and damaging homes and infrastructure. Nadezhdin has urged his supporters to back his attempt to challenge Putin. The former MP needs at least 100,000 signatures from 40 regions across Russia to be registered for the tightly controlled polls. And in what is being seen as a new form of anti-war protest, thousands in Moscow, St. Petersburg and across the country are leaving their signatures for Putin's potential opponent. They are waiting outside his campaign offices for hours to allow him to appear on the ballot in the March election. Nadezzin also has the support of a contingent of soldiers' wives who are unhappy with their husbands' long deployments. But getting on the ballot could be an uphill battle for him. Nadezzin has also been backed by jailed opposition leader Alexei Navalny. The Kremlin critic has complained of being poisoned, assaulted and deprived of proper medical care. And this week, he disclosed a new challenge, being forced to listen to a pro-Putin pop singer at 5 in the morning every single day. South Korea's ruling party is embroiled in a controversy. In a developing incident, hidden camera footage has emerged, allegedly showing South Korea's First Lady, Kim Kyon-hee, accepting a Dior bag as a gift. Now, the bag scandal, as the incident is being called, is sending shockwaves through President Yoon Suk-yeol's administration and his ruling People Power Party, or the PPP. The potential impropriety of the gift is prompting PPP members to urge President Yoon and the First Lady to apologize. Yoon's office has so far remained silent on the matter. The scandal is evolving into a political bombshell. It risks impacting PPP's bid to reclaim a parliamentary majority in the upcoming April election. Analysts have cautioned that President Yoon's silence and internal party disputes could further worsen the situation and threaten its electoral prospects. There are also allegations of a possible violation of anti-bribery laws, and the purse had a price tag of 3 million won, or about $2,250. On the other hand, supporters of the president argue that Kim is a victim of a smear campaign and was framed. The case unfolded last November when Korean news broadcasters aired a secretly recorded video featuring a Korean-American pastor, Reverend Abraham Choi, handing the handbag to Kim. Choi claims that his luxury gift was intended to secure an audience with Kim to express concerns about Yoon's hardline North Korea policy. Now, as tensions rise within the PPP, a poll by YTN Cable News indicates that 69% respondents believe that President Yoon needs to address the controversy. Another poll from December suggests that about 53% of respondents view Kim's actions as inappropriate, while 27% believe that she fell into a trap. All right, in a new verdict now, a Thailand court reinstated popular politician Pita Limjaroenrat as a lawmaker after finding him not guilty of violating any election law. Earlier, Pita was barred from becoming the Prime Minister despite his party securing first place in last year's elections. Pita was suspended from Parliament while the court considered if he had violated the law by owning shares in a media company.
I feel all right. I feel regular, like any other working day. In my mind right now is about the next steps of the kind of work that needs to be done.
Pita's case revolves around shares in ITV station that has closed its operations since the year 2007. According to Pita, he inherited the shares from his father. The court agreed with Pita's contention that ITV was not a media business operator. Pita's move forward partly secured victory on the promise of ending business monopolies. After nearly a decade of military-controlled government, the move showed a strong mandate for change. And with that, we are wrapping up this edition of Race to Power. Thanks for watching with me, Ananya Datta. Goodbye.